to you by Podcast City Network.
Due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to ELS Uncut.
Here we are again, ladies and gentlemen. Everett Lee here from the Everett Lee Show podcast. This is ELS Uncut. I hope everyone's having a better day than I am today on this muggy, cold day here in Daytona Beach, Florida. Just one hell of a day. It just didn't start out great. After everything that happened, everything I went through today, this just shitty-ass day, I'm just telling you, it's fucking just, oh my God. I'm just aggravated, but I'm good now. I'm sitting here recording an intro to the beginning of this podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Podcast City Network, as you heard at the beginning of the opening here. That's right. Podcast City Network has launched. It launched this week, and the traffic coming to the site, I couldn't be much happier. I could not be much happier with all the traffic coming in and out and checking out podcasts and stuff. This week, within the last few days of launching the site, podcastcity.net, freaking traffic, man, just started picking up. Got on Facebook, went over to facebook.com/podcastcitynetwork and promoted shows on the network, such as the Super Radio Brothers podcast. We have the Imaginarium podcast with Scott Culbert and Todd Sturridge. Also, ELS Uncut released the first episode of that, which was the uncut version of the Draft Tuesday segment with the Super Radio Brothers. I had to put that out there for the first episode. I was tired of sitting on it because I had it for a Patreon exclusive for the Everett Lee Show, but no one bothered to donate and put money in. So I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to release this shit, man. It deserves to be out there. And therefore, I released it last week. Then I released the first episodes of Films of Classic, which episode 1 covered a Maximum Overdrive, which is really good. You should check that out. That is up on the Podcast City Network, along with other programming, which will be added. I believe tomorrow or sometime this week, the Imaginarium podcast with Scott Culbert and Todd Sturridge will be releasing their next episode. Later on in the week, we'll have the Super Radio Brothers releasing another good episode. And in the course this week, this episode right here, episode 2 of ELS Uncut. This episode right here, I just got to jump into this right here. And then I'll tell you about my shitty day. This episode right here is going to have to do with McShaft and his friend Cullen, who they've been recording music together. McShaft messaged me a while back ago, and he mentioned about working with Cullen at his house there recording music. I thought it was great and everything. He finally said, hey, we're going to be recording music. We want to swing by and pick up extra mics and stuff and everything. I said, yeah, that's cool. Just swing on by, come on by. I'll hook you up with some shit. So they come by, and while we're sitting here, I'm talking to Cullen and McShaft. I said, you know what? This would be a good opportunity right now to record an episode. Let's just throw on some audio and just talk and stuff. Talk to Cullen, talking about music, what drives him to be a musician, what he comes up with his creativity, and where he lived previously before moving to Daytona, which was up in Seattle. We talked about that, talked about the music scene, talked about random stuff. The discussion, I asked some questions here and there, and then it bounced back and forth between him, McShaft, and myself. And this was recorded right around Christmas time. So you'll hear about McShaft's wardrobe that he's wearing, which I'm not going to spoil right here. You'll have to listen to the episode here, the beginning of it. And it's a really good episode. It's just one of these episodes where we just sit down here and three people have a conversation, talking about music, talking about just different things going on at that time. However, I love the fact that I'm thinking about right now is with McShaft with that with the outfit. But I'm not going to spoil it. That's making me laugh on this shitty day I've been having. Tell you how this shitty day started off. I worked last night, got home, went to sleep, got up at 11. I went to get up at 11 o'clock because I was going to head over to DeLand for the comic convention they had over there. They have a couple of legend wrestlers over there. Brian Blair from the tag team Killer Bees, he was there. And Lanny Poffo, the Genius. You may remember him from WWF back in the day. Brother of Macho Man Randy Savage, WWE Hall of Fame. I was excited. I was going to meet these people. I was going to, go over there, hang out, see what's going on. The window and the time wasn't that long. So I said to myself, I better make the best of it. So get up 11, get ready, get the wife, get the kid, and head over there. Well, didn't wake up at 11 o'clock, hit snooze on the alarm. Wife wakes me up. I get up, get ready, and we bundle up our little one, and we jump in the car, and we decide to head out that way. So stopped at 7-Eleven there. I said, I need to get my coffee. Stopped there, went up to the cappuccino machine. After I threw in my cup there, my empty cup, threw in some 2 case shots, a little bit of a dab of sugar. I hit the French vanilla, and I noticed it wasn't French vanilla that was coming out. It was carbonated water. I said to myself, what? So the guy that's there when I get coffee and stuff, he was there. I was like, smell this, man? It smells like carbonated water. And he was like, yep, it does. So he opened up the machine. Yep, it was out. So he went and switched it, put it back in, went to hit French vanilla. I didn't notice at the time, though, but it was still getting rid of that carbonated water, which ended up all on my cup with a little dab of French vanilla. Paid for it, got the wife something to drink, jumped in the car, taking sips out of it after we get down the road. I said, oh my God, this tastes like carbonated water. I can't believe it. But at least I got the points on the app, on the 7-Eleven app there. I got the points. So my next coffee will be a free one, and it'll be a good one. It'll be better. I couldn't drink it. So I said, hey, let me have a swig of your drink. Well, actually, no. My wife said, you want a swig of my Pepsi? I said, yeah, let me have a swig. Didn't know she kind of cracked it open, and when I kind of reached back with my left hand to grab it, it spilt and landed on my phone, and right there on the gear shifter. I was like, son of a bitch. Oh, I was pissed. Tried to wipe it off, and it didn't work. My phone, the face of it was covered with Pepsi. I was like, God dang it, man. What else can go wrong? We stopped off somewhere while I was sitting there waiting for my wife to run into the store. She came back out. Then, we need to get gas. Okay, so stopped at the gas station to get gas. Went in there. I was like, I'm getting a damn fresh cup of coffee. So stopped at Circle K, went in there, got rid of that carbonated water piece of shit, threw it in the fucking garbage. Walked in there, grabbed myself a freaking good-ass cup of coffee. Went to go pay for gas. I said, this is for the coffee. Whatever else I have out of this and this, I gave an extra 20 there. I said, need to fill up gas. Lady said, I already put this in for the pump. I can't add or take away. I was like, what the hell? Well, let me see what I can do. I said, you know what? I'll pump that, and then I'll come back in and I'll pay again for the second half. So went out there, pumped that, got that done, went back in, pumped, paid, pumped. Then went back in again to get the rest changed because I filled up the damn tank. So jumped in the car. We took off. So, all right, we're on our way to DeLand. Yep. By this time, the hours for this convention was between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. By the time we started hitting the road to hit that way, it was almost 2 o'clock. By that time, we would probably got there by 3. And what set us back more was she got a phone call at the store that she stopped at. She left her checkbook. I just jumped on the interstate. I'm like, son of a bitch. So I had to go back up and take a long U-turn back around. So basically I had to circle back, had to get the check. I was like, you know what? Forget it. Can't go. By the time we get out there, people's probably gone. They're probably cleaning up. And Lanny Paffa and Brian Blair's probably already gone now. So I missed that opportunity. I said, damn, man. Damn. It just wasn't my day. It just wasn't my day. So we decided to stop and eat. So what put a smile on my face was we stopped at Denny's there close by after we picked up our check. Sat down at the table, put Callie, she's 11 months old. Her birthday's next month. Put her in a high chair, and we gave her that coloring book thing with that paper menu. She's holding it, and it looked like she was trying to read it and everything, like with our menus. It looked like all three of us are gonna order. So it was cute. It was funny. So I captured that moment with a couple of pictures. I was gonna I'll show those to her when she gets older later down the road. But I just it put a smile on my face. Sitting there watching the game. They had the game on. They had Jacksonville against Pittsburgh. And, yeah, Jacksonville was doing really good. It was about the end of the second quarter there. And got home. Ended up watching the rest of that game. Man, that was a damn close game. Jacksonville 45, Steelers 42. They came back. While we were there, I told my wife, I said, there's no way these guys, Steelers, are going to catch up. She's like, well, it's still early. I was like, well, okay. By the time we got back to the house, they were already scoring up there. I was like, son of a bitch, man. So I sat there and watched the rest of the game, and it was pretty good, close in. And then right now, as I'm speaking, I haven't walked over the TV. We got the New Orleans Saints going up against the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota already came out of the damn gates, man, with a damn touchdown. And then they went and got an extra point now. Last time I checked the score was Minnesota 10, Saints 0. And this is still the first quarter, so this would be one hell of a game, man. I heard a lot of good things about Minnesota this year. But both teams. So it's gonna be interesting. After I get done doing this here, recording this intro and everything, I'm gonna kick back on the couch, drink myself something cold to drink, gonna watch some fucking football, and probably pass out on the couch. Let's jump right into this segment right here. This conversation with McShaft and his friend Cullen.
Wow, wow, wow.
What is that?
NWO, the wrestling thing back in the 90s.
Oh.
Like Hulk Hogan and all them. Their theme music was literally a snippet of music from like a porn movie.
As you can hear, that's McShaft talking about wrestling. I just hit record just to roll.
Oh, okay.
I was like, all right, I'm ready to go.
What am I wearing?
What are you wearing? You're wearing an ugly sweater. That's what you're wearing.
What's on the sweater?
A llama?
There you go.
A llama? Go. I was going to say the ELS Yeti.
No Yeti.
We're also joined here today with Cullen.
Hello.
Who is a musician who's created some awesome music. McShaft's been showing me playing a lot of the music that you've been creating, which is pretty damn awesome. How long you been playing guitar? You've been playing guitar, right?
Yeah, I've played guitar since I was about 14, so about 10 years now I've been playing guitar. But I started playing the violin in the orchestra when I was in like the 3rd grade, and then I played all the other viola, cello, bass, all the way through high school in orchestra, and then picked up guitar. Actually, my first guitar I won in a radio contest.
Oh, did you?
Which was kind of cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. What kind of guitar did you win?
It's just a kind of a shitty like black acoustic like beginners. Probably costs like $100 at the most. But yeah, it was. I didn't really like it that much, but it was cool to free guitar. So figured if I had one, I might as well learn, and
Yeah.
that's how I got started. So.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to apologize for my dog. He's so excited when he sees new people.
no, that's all right.
As you can hear,
Yeah.
he
knows
gets
you're talking about him too.
Yeah, he gets really excited. And of course, my daughter in the background there is trying to fight sleep. She don't want to go to sleep. But yeah, we all remember our first guitars or our first instruments.
First drum.
Yeah, your first drum set. You should have seen the drum set this guy had, man. What was your first drum set?
The bass drum. It was a Tama. It was a black Tama, and all the little like metal screw things on it had they were gold plated, so it was gold and black. And the bass drum had a Beavis and Butthead sticker on it.
Yeah,
So awesome. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the first technical drum I had was a practice pad I got when I signed up
remember
for
that.
band in elementary school. To give you a pair of drumsticks and a practice pad, and they're like,
yeah.
"Here's a book with some music on it. Just get ready."
Yeah, I remember that little practice drum thing with your little drum set there. I think my first guitar was an acoustic guitar. I ended up working as a busboy over I think it was like Memorial Day weekend. I saved up enough tips and went in there and bought it for like $100. It was like $100, like little acoustic guitar. I don't even know what the heck happened to it. I think my stepbrother up in Tennessee has it. And over the years, I carved in stuff on the side of it, and everything.
Which Waffle House did you bust at?
It was actually a seafood restaurant that don't exist no more.
Came out there every night smelling like fish.
Some nights, it was bad. It's like as soon as I get home, I had to go take a shower right away.
Those restaurants where you pick out your own lobster to eat, and they're like, "Okay, sir, I want that one right there." You had to dive in the tank and grab the lobster.
No, it wasn't that fancy. It wasn't that fancy. Yeah, I ended up getting the gig with my mom. She babysitted the owner's kids, so
nice.
That's how I got the job, which is pretty neat. You're not originally from the area here in Daytona. You actually you're from Seattle.
Kind of Seattle area ish. I'm from Bellingham, Washington, which it's actually 80 miles north of Seattle.
That's cool.
So it's like right up in the top northwestern corner of the country, like nearby the border. Yeah, that's where I grew up, and that's where I'm from. Yeah,
that's cool. How Seattle different from Florida or the state of Washington? How's that different?
God, it'd be easier to list how it was similar because it's totally different.
Similar?
Totally different. No. I'm just saying the list of similarities would be a shorter
Yeah.
list than the list of differences.
Right. Right.
Yeah. No, it's a lot different. I mean, in every aspect, the weather, the people, I guess you could say culture, quote unquote. Yeah, it's very different, but it's cool to live somewhere else and meet different people, see different things. Yeah.
I heard that with the constant overcast up there, there's always a lot of people really aggravated all the time, and
they say that. I think you don't really notice as much when you live there, but yeah, I think there's probably a higher rate of depression and anxiety because it's pretty cloudy there all the time, pretty constantly raining. So
yeah, I that's what I've heard. I've heard it rains all the time up there. It's like a lot of people I've watched documentaries on the Seattle music scene and stuff from early 90s and stuff, and a lot of people said there wasn't much really to do because it rained all the time except just form a band and jam.
Yeah, I think that's probably part of where all that music comes from. Grunge music is kind of from that area, and I think I don't know, maybe how depressed people are made them make that kind of music.
Yeah,
makes sense.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I could see that a lot.
If you look at where Kurt Cobain is from, he's from this little town. It's kind of it's a little farther west of Seattle, kind of out on the peninsula. That's called Aberdeen, and it's just a dump. It's a terrible.
Heard it was a logger town.
Yeah, a lot of towns out there used to be logging towns.
That's still a big thing out there.
No, I mean not really. Not that I'm aware of, really. I mean, I lived there forever, and I didn't like meet any loggers, you know. But,
It's like a lot of like trucks going on the highways with like logs and stuff on them.
Yeah, there's a lot of oil refineries out
Okay.
there. Like in Bellingham, where I'm from, there's probably a couple oil refineries like out in the surrounding areas, and that's always kind of a big thing people talk about because there's a lot of
Right.
like a lot of kind of hippie people that live there, I guess,
Mhm.
and they're not super down with like the coal and oil all going on right there. So a source of constant controversy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see that. Kind of almost like Asheville, like a big like music kind of like hippie scene.
Yeah, well,
College
that's sort of
town,
like
I
the
think.
whole Pacific Northwest is like very liberal, and
Yeah,
that's part of it, I guess. Yeah.
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 How's the food different though? Is the food really good? I mean, the food's got to be really
Yeah.
good there. Nah?
I've heard some.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely great food over there. A lot of really, really good seafood, and like the one thing I miss a lot is sort of like Asian food. That's kind of an all-encompassing term, but there's a lot more of that on the West Coast because I think there tend to be there's a bigger maybe Asian population on the West Coast than I've seen.
Probably
out here on the
closer.
East Coast,
Yeah.
at least down in Florida. I don't know about
I mean,
Northeast.
I mean, we get like little hole in the wall like takeout places mostly. I mean,
Right,
nothing
yeah,
like
everywhere's got that.
yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, not very many like fancy, like nice like sit down ones.
Right.
I think it probably could be because like the Pacific Ocean's like Asia's like right there. So it's like, hey, there you are, right there.
Yeah, I think like probably a lot of immigrants from
Yeah.
Asia land on the West Coast.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I've always
Yeah.
found surprising though is like how far down south we are from the U.S. and we get a lot of like Canadians down here. It's probably because of the warmer climate.
Oh yeah, we do, especially like traveling up and down the interstate and stuff. I see like license plates from Quebec and stuff.
I would have thought
yeah.
they would have probably like stopped like maybe like right over the border and stuff, closer to home. That's
Yeah.
a long like drive.
I feel like most people in Florida are not from Florida.
No.
That I've met. Like,
No,
No.
they're not. Florida's a big melting pot, man. I
Yeah.
mean, like everyone comes here from all over.
You got the snowbirds. They live like
Up
half,
north.
yeah, up north 6 months, down here 6 months. A lot of people from like New York, Pennsylvania,
oh yeah.
New Jersey.
yeah, Canada.
Yeah, they come
That's
down.
about-
They
yeah.
come down during the winter. They stay for about 6 months and then they go back.
And of
then-
course, they come out for the races and
Right,
Yeah.
Right.
all that kind of cool spring break and everything.
Yeah. What musical influence that you have?
Yeah, that's a big question.
Didn't mean to throw you on the
It's like,
spot
no,
there.
No, that's, I guess I just have like a lot of different influences. It kind of changes from time to time. Like I tend to like find a band that I really like and I'll listen to it to death, and then I'll be a little aimless for a little while, and then find something else that I really like and just get like kind of obsessive about it. I was just telling him before we came over here that like probably my biggest influence was this band called Brand New, and it's kind of a bummer because like about 2-3 weeks ago it came out that the singer, who's this guy that I really looked up to, is like a songwriter and is like sexually assaulted a bunch of people, so that's like kind of a bummer because his
What?
music is so great, but then
Oh,
you find that out
man.
that like a long time ago
Why?
he did all these terrible things, and so
Why
that
is
kind
it
of thing.
usually? Why is it usually that happens? Is someone you look up to or something, and all of a sudden it's just the one thing. It's like
Well, it's like Terry Crews that just came out like a few weeks ago. Like Terry Crews, hilarious in movies like White Chicks and
Yeah.
and it's like, oh no, he did this, like.
Oh no, he was assaulted.
Oh, he was assaulted.
That was-
Okay, I
that's-
thought he did assault someone.
No. He was like
assaulted.
one of the rare like male celebrities that's come out and said that he was assaulted by somebody.
yeah, he was
One of the
assaulted,
kids
just
from
like
Stranger
Corey, like the
Things.
Corey Haim thing. It's like he came out and said he was assaulted. Was
The one
what
kid from
happened with
Stranger
him.
Things came out too. He said like in the first season of Stranger Things he was.
I was.
I didn't hear anything about that.
That is crazy because
Yeah.
I was telling you the other day. I was like, this is like all of a sudden everyone's coming out about, oh, I was, I got something happened to me 30 years ago, 20 years ago.
What it
and
is that
it all started. It's all started with like the Weinstein thing.
Well,
and
what
it's
it
like
is
as soon as that
that
hit,
people start seeing it and hearing it, they start building confidence to come out with this stuff. Probably for like many years, people were like afraid to say anything. And now because everyone's doing it, they're getting the confidence to actually come out and say stuff and everything.
I had to hit pause there for a minute. My wife she had to give me her 2 cents. It's just like we're talking about. It's messed up how it's like started with to me what I seen. It started with the Weinstein thing, and then all of a sudden everyone just starts rolling out and stuff.
Well,
it's
I
just
think
a lot of things
it
happen.
seems to me like, and I hesitate to like bring up politics and stuff because you guys might have different ideas than me, but with with Donald Trump being elected, and he's somebody who allegedly sexually assaulted like many people. I think that angered a lot of people, and so I think out of that anger, you have all these people being like, all right, like it's time to talk about this. Now we have like a president who's the most powerful man in the world, as having allegedly assaulted like tens of people, lots of people ranging in age from like underage to adults, so I think that's probably what fired people up a lot. And then I think sort of a domino effect where the more people talk about it, the more people feel like they can talk about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, like she made a good point. Like we're a bunch of dudes talking about this.
I know, right?
Might not have the best perspective.
I know, yeah.
Hey, it's,
but it's like similarity. It's just like when you really look up to like a celebrity and like they commit murder or something like that, or do something like that. I mean, it's like.
Right.
It's weird how like people you look up to, like something happens with them, and it's just like, wow.
It is. It is. It's crazy. It is because when, especially it's like I hear it's like when you meet like certain people like are not who they are when you meet them and stuff, like when you meet your it's like, oh, I'm your biggest fan. You meet your role model, your idol, and all of a sudden it's like. They're not who they are. They, 9 times out of 10, they can turn out to be a douche, and or they could be the coolest person. And it's like, it's like he or she's awesome, and then you meet that person, and it's like, man, that dude's a douche. Dude's a douche.
But I think the most important thing though is that like whether it be movies or music, even if they've done like something, absolutely horrible, wrong or whatever, like you still, it's like you may not want to, listen to their stuff or watch their movies or stuff, but you got to remember too is like if that stuff actually like you got to kind of separate, all this kind of stuff and just focus on the good stuff, like they put out this awesome album, this song, they put out this awesome movie,
Yeah.
That's hard though with like with music. A lot of times. Like, I suppose with maybe an actor, it might be easier to like separate them from their work because they didn't necessarily like write the script or direct the movie or anything like that. But with music, like the thing that you're like attached to is their is very personal to them, and so it's hard to separate. I think like an artist in the sense of like with music where they're writing songs about themselves and their experiences and their emotions and stuff. It's hard to separate that from like maybe they're a total piece of garbage.
Yeah. That's true. And with music and stuff, they can express. They can express what they feel and stuff. And put that energy and put that in there. And come up with stuff. What other inspirations and what kind of genres music do you like? You pretty much open to like any kind of genre of music, or you just stick to one type? You're like, this is my vice I go to, and then you listen to like everything, or
I listen to like a pretty wide variety of music. The only one I really can't get down with is like country music. It's just not for me. And like I like some hip hop and rap, but again, like the vast majority of it is just kind of not really my thing.
As a drummer, I like hip hop and rap just because like it's
the beat
focused.
Yeah.
I don't care what they're singing about, rapping about, but the beats were like it gets me. Like,
I guess I'm a little more hung up on lyrics, and so it's like harder for me to get into music that I can't relate to. I guess.
Yeah, I think that's something interesting too, because like. you sing, write lyrics and stuff like that, and like my girlfriend, she sings, and writes lyrics and stuff. So you're more like lyrical, like focused kind of. And for me, because I don't write lyrics, I don't, do that kind of stuff. I just play the beats. So I think I'm more beat focused, So it's like it's weird because we listen to the same song and you listen to it differently than I listen to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're like some of the bands that I really really like. Also, like have really strong lyricists are like like Queens of the Stone Age is probably one of my other favorite bands.
Oh,
like,
Queens of Stone Age.
Yeah, like Josh Homme is like a super clever lyricist,
Right.
and also obviously an incredible guitar player.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
the whole band is always resonated with me a lot. And then there are other I'm trying to think of some other bands that I really appreciate, like Arctic Monkeys. That's another one. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them, but
No.
super clever lyrics. Like just the way that the wordplay and the way that they're put together is really really smart. And I appreciate that a lot. As far as like music that's relatable to me, I mean the first band that he and I ever talked about was this band Pedro the Lion, and their singer David Bazan has got a lot of solo stuff that's really good too.
Right.
That I just relate to a lot. It's very like kind of it's like indie rock, so it's a little moody, but
Yeah.
good stuff. So.
Indie rock's good. Last night I was at work last night, and for months now I have not been able to use my iHeartRadio app or my TuneIn app.
Why not?
Well, for some reason it wouldn't let me log in,
okay.
and it wouldn't work.
Did you update your phone?
Well, I updated my phone.
Okay.
I updated the apps. Well, I happened to notice when you update apps, the icon changes, so the TuneIn apps change. It's like, so I just clicked on it. Bam, it started playing. I was like, oh, cool, I got music.
Nice.
Then I was like, let me try iHeart, because I was having a problem when I hit the iHeart. I can't log in with Facebook. I'm sitting there just pounding my phone. I'm like, log in, Facebook. And I'm like, damn. So, for a long time there, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts at night and stuff with the Podcast One app, Stitcher app, and stuff. Well, both my music apps work, and I have a custom playlist saved on iHeart, and just a wide variety from everything from like classic rock to like hard rock to metal. So that was the first thing I went to. I was like, I gotta hear something. I don't care what it is. And the first song that played on my custom playlist was Sepultura Roots.
Sepultura.
Yep.
What is that?
Sepultura was this back in like that late 80s when like metal and like thrash and stuff were starting to get really big. It was mainly focused in America here, mostly New York and Tampa were the two big areas. So over in Brazil, there's this band that started called Sepultura, and they were like a Brazilian like thrash metal band.
Okay.
But they incorporated like conga drums and stuff and everything into
cool.
it. So it was something like new for the area and then new for like metal and stuff and everything.
They basically took their culture influence and threw it in with their music, and people loved it. And it was fronted by the Cavalier. I'm probably saying that wrong.
Max Cavalera?
The Cavalier brothers. Max was the singer, and then
Igor.
his brother was the drummer. And they went on and recorded, I forgot how many albums with Max as their lead singer.
It was like 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
Really good, successful albums. Really good. And they ended up. Max left the band, and he went on to form a band called Soulfly, because I think that if you probably know the story, it was
his
like
son, I think, plays drums for him now. I think
right, because didn't he want to go in one direction, the band want to go another, so that's why they split up. Creative differences. Yeah, because Soulfly was what Sepultura would have been if they would have went that direction. But I think
it's kind of funny too, because they got a new vocalist and they're still playing now, but the music sounds like still, kind of similar to Soulfly and, definitely Sepultura. So it's like the music didn't really go in too much of a direction. That's the only thing, though. I'm sure, like in his mind, it was like way off. But it's always hard to take something in your head and put it actually into like down on like music and instruments and stuff and everything. That's the hardest part.
I heard of this cool band like last week. I I mean, it's not like something I would really like listen to regularly, but you talking about them bringing their culture and made me think of it. There's this band from, I'm not sure exactly where they're from. But they're called, like, I can't remember the name of the island, but they're called Alien Weaponry, and they're like a metal band, like a thrash metal band. It's these three kids, and all their vocals are in Maori, which is like a super kind of, it's like a Pacific Islander language, and so it's got this cool thing, and they have like a lot of their music sounds nuts because all the vocals are like these like really intense sounding, you know, it's almost like listening to somebody like a German metal band, you know, with like the you know, that
like,
really heavy kind of
like Rammstein kind of.
Yeah, it's got that really like intense sounding language.
Rammstein.
But that's another band that they were talking about how like the most people don't speak that language anymore, and so that's a way that these kids are like trying to keep their culture alive is by
using that,
playing metal because they love metal, and then like also writing all their lyrics in this like almost dead language, which is, it sounds really cool.
That's cool. I'm definitely have to check that out.
That sounds pretty cool.
I want to ask you the obvious. Just being from Washington State and Seattle, did you listen to a lot of the bands like Soundgarden, Nirvana, Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam? I mean, you know, from that era, I grew up on it. Yeah. And McShaft there jokes with me every time about, you know, how I'm stuck in that era, but I just love that era.
I'm still stuck in my era of the same kind of music. I mean,
but like, he jokes about it, but it's just all in fun when he jokes about it with me and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I know. It's like basically saying, you know, it's like the way I look at it is when he jokes at me about that. It's like I'm Tommy Chong. And it's like, man, you're still stuck in the 70s, man. You need to get out of the 70s, man. That's how I look at it.
Mostly Maui Wow, a little bit of lab in it.
So I'm like,
smoking dog, man.
So it's like now it's like I'm like that. Sometimes I feel like I'm like Tommy Chung, though. But it's like, you know, instead of like, yeah, I'm stuck in the 70s, man. It's like
stuck in the 90s.
It's like, yeah, hey, man, it's 90s, dude.
Yeah.
You know, it's like rock on. That's how.
And in his mind, Guns N' Roses haven't broken up yet and reformed.
What, they broke up? No. They're on tour with Metallica right now. Jesus. You know, the Black Album is #1 right now.
Yeah, right.
Honestly, actually, what's funny?
Kurt Cobain's still alive.
What happened to Kurt?
Oh man,
I know, right?
He got murdered.
Yeah.
I was.
We both believe that whole theory too. That's
murder.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I believe so too.
I mean, that documentary, didn't you watch it, the Kurt and Courtney documentary?
Mm-hmm.
Because that filmmaker was trying to find out, and he talked to this one guy, I forgot the band that was in L.A. I don't know if you ever seen that documentary.
I think I've probably seen it. I'm not sure what band.
Yeah, the band was weird because they wore like the gimp outfits or something, you know what I'm talking about? Or like,
I don't know, there are a lot of like those crazy
yeah.
grunge bands that were like a little gimmicky.
But he, I guess he ended up saying, you know, it's like, from what during the documentary, he admitted, he's like, yeah, Courtney Love came up and offered him money to kill Kurt.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And then he took off. The guy took off to go someplace else, I guess back up to Seattle to talk with, I guess, Kurt's sister or something. And when he came back down to talk with him again, apparently he went out, got drunk, and went out by the train tracks and got killed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Apparently.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's like iffy about that is that I think because Kurt Cobain was like such a well-loved person, people don't want to believe that he would kill himself, and I don't know. I mean, there's like I said, like
there's so much like
I probably lean more towards that like there was some sort of foul play, you know, like there's the whole thing where he, I guess we don't want to get too much into the details, but he like injected himself with like something like 3 times a lethal dose of heroin, which isn't like really possible.
Yeah, they said it was like he'd kill a horse or something. That's how much heroin he had.
The position of like the shotgun and where it was having his wrist to his body, and how he couldn't have like pulled the trigger with his toes because of how fucked up he was, and his shoes wrong. It was all kind of crazy, you know.
And that's why like Seattle PD reopens the case like almost every 5 to 10 years they reopen the case. And,
it's like one of the big.
They close it up again usually pretty quickly, but I mean.
It's like one of the most biggest popular cold cases up there, ain't it?
Probably like dealing with with regards to like dealing with such a prominent person, yeah.
Right.
Because, I mean, he was at the time like probably one of the most famous people in the world.
I like that one movie they put out. Was it last year? The Montage of Heck. that was produced by his daughter or something like that.
Yeah, well,
It
I
was-
mean, it was like his family gave permission for them to do it, but I thought it. I don't know. I watched it, and I got about halfway through it. With my wife and I were watching it. We were excited about it because it looked like it was going to be this really well produced documentary, and it was well produced. But
A lot of animation.
It felt really like invasive, and to me, like there was like stuff that I was just like, I don't know if I should be like seeing this or hearing this. You know, it's there's I think even like a public figure, even one that's dead, it should probably still have some privacy, and I just think that documentary was like a little too much. Like they're like showing like home videos of like him and Courtney like just hanging out at home. They're playing like all these weird tapes of him,
Right.
you know, that maybe he didn't want anybody to ever hear. You know, you never know.
Yeah.
Telling these weird stories. Like there was some weird story about him like sleeping with a disabled girl. Like the and thing. And like right after that documentary came out, one of his best friends from like back in the day was like, no way. Like we were. The guy from the Melvins was like, no way. He's like, we were friends all through high school,
I
and that
forgot his
definitely
name.
didn't happen.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Yeah, the Melvins.
You know, the one thing I always enjoyed was when they did the Unplugged album / video thing, and the Meat Puppets came on.
Yeah.
that
I was like,
so
oh
cool.
my God. I think
They
it's
played
awesome.
those couple of Meat Puppet songs.
I remember listening to
Yeah.
the interview, and they were like, MTV was like freaking out and kind of pissed because they were like, oh, we want you to play all these hit songs, and they're like, no, we're gonna play Meat Puppet songs.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, he went against everything that they were wanting him to play all these songs, and Kurt's like, no, this is unplugged. He turned it into a jam session. He turned it into a session, like his own personal jam session that's unplugged.
Yep.
And it's like, you're here to enjoy you're here to listen to us, and this is our list, and we're gonna play it, and I love the unplugged.
I did like how
yeah.
later years they incorporated Pat into the band and stuff as an extra guitar player. Just to,
Yeah. Pat
always thought that
Smear's an incredible guitar player.
Yeah.
he's back in the Foo Fighters again, isn't he? I know he
Yeah,
left.
he's been playing in the Foo Fighters for. I mean, he did it first and then left and then came back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when he was in the band and he left, and he comes back. It's like he comes and goes, It's like Dave's give him that, It's like, yeah, you can come play, and then you can leave. And then they had the other guy there for a while too. I forgot his name. I've seen him briefly, like I remember back on
6 or
videos.
7 people in the band. You watch them play, and there's like 5 guitars going at once. Seems like a little bit much, but
They're almost like Ministry. They have about like
pretty
13 guitar players.
Yeah. The Red Hot Chili Peppers got another new guitar player.
Who?
The Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
They got another new guitar player.
Yeah.
aside from that the young guy.
Yeah, it's another younger guy. He had some different younger guy.
Because I know that they've had. It's been like 4 people for a long time. They've had that young guitar player. I think his name's like Klinghoff or something. I'm not sure. He's like a young guy. He's been playing with them for like 5 or 6 years. I don't know. Do they have like 2 guitar players now?
No, they got.
Oh,
I think
okay.
he left, and they got another like younger.
Yeah, I know
guy
John.
there, too.
John, I forget his last name. Farin.
Yeah,
or
'cause
whatever his name. He left.
Can Dave Novosek,
Dave Novosek.
or what his name was, the guy from Jane's Addiction.
Oh, Dave Navarro.
Navarro. There you go.
Novostack.
Yeah. I'm like, is it something
You're
like
thinking
that?
of Nirvana's
yeah.
bassist Novoselic.
No, Dave Novoselic.
Novoselic.
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah,
There's
Dave
a Chris
Navarro.
That's what I was saying. I
Novoselic.
think you're thinking of like
Dave Navarro.
Yeah.
Dave Navarro wasn't too bad of a guitar player. I remember I got One Hot Minute on CD when I came out, and
he's a
that
good
was a
guitar
good
player.
guitar. Yeah, I don't like Jane's Addiction, but I like them.
One Hot Minute from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yeah, I feel like with One Hot Minute was.
I feel like they kept that like funky groove kind of beat Chili Peppers had back in the day with Dave Navarro a little bit,
Do you? Because
If
with One
if
Hot
you
Minute, I feel it was more of a rock album than
Well, I
what
mean,
was like
if
from
you
Blood
listen-
Sugar Sex Magic.
If you listen to Aeroplane on that album, and you go back and listen to like when they did Higher Ground,
Yeah.
it's like got like that little funky beat to it,
Yeah.
Even like Give It Away, Aeroplane, it still got like that like jazz kind of like funk, kind of beat to it.
It did.
And
it
then-
does. Yeah.
Their last few albums, they've like just it's a complete 180 from what they used to be. It's a lot more like
Mm-hmm.
kind of toned down, like more melodic, just like kind of almost like it almost kind of reminds me of the genre I could explain it as what the Chili Peppers are now. It's almost like a California like mellow stoner like kind of
It's probably just 'cause they're getting old.
alternative rock.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It's like Pearl Jam. You know, like Pearl Jam's last album, complete different than like the first couple.
Pearl.
I haven't listened to it much. Like, I love 10. I think is one of the best albums ever, and
hands down.
10 Verses of Vitology are the only 3 albums I listen to from them.
yeah, those are great. Anything like
Yeah, those 3 albums
than
were
that
freaking
is-
great. Now,
Yeah,
I did
not worth
pick
it to
up.
me.
I did pick up a Pearl Jam album that they recorded like in the early 2000s. It's on the front of it. It has that. It's the CD's black. Okay, and on the front of it, it has some kind of like something that they put on there from like you see in a telescope from space. You know what I'm talking about? I forgot the name of it. The album, but
No Code, maybe?
no, not No Code. Interesting thing about No Code, since you brought that up,
Yeah.
that was I guess at that time they were going through like I believe they were going through like the Ticketmaster thing still.
Oh yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
the first. It was the first album or CD to be printed that didn't have a barcode on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because like you know how when
how'd they sell it? Just
well-
like at shows or like.
well actually it's like they had the barcode on the package.
Oh.
So like if you look at a CD for instance, if you notice on the back of the CDs they got like the barcode
Yeah,
that's
it's like a
in
part
the
of it.
yeah the part of like the album art. This was like the first CD that didn't have that in it. It's
Oh.
like they
They
it's
put
like
on like the outside wrapper, and that was it. So you
Yep.
just pull up the
Oh.
wrapper, there it is. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
no barcode.
the record label got mad at them. There was some about doing it that way and stuff, but they were trying to prove a point. So that's why there was like no code.
Well, you know one thing I like in, like Tool and like Perfect Circle, they're like no camera video rule that they have at their concerts.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's something that a lot of bands should probably start getting back into, because that way you're not sitting there the whole time, with your phone up, watching through your phone. It's like,
Oh yeah.
watch it through your eyes, experience the show.
Yeah, you're never
experience
gonna
it.
watch that video, and if you do, it's gonna look and sound like shit because you're holding your phone. It's
Yeah.
not like it's
The
not worth it.
1,000
Yeah.
It's
Facebook
distracting.
follower.
Like if you're ever at a show and someone stands right in front of you and they're like holding their phone up, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, now I gotta
Yep.
watch it on your phone because I can't see.
Yeah. And like the 1,000
Yeah.
Facebook followers you have, and probably the 20 Snapchat people are not going to, really care about that.
Yeah, nobody's gonna watch it.
Yeah.
You know what's fun? You know what's crazy about like when Facebook Live first started coming out, almost everyone I know that goes to shows and stuff that's on my friends list, and you've probably seen this too on your friends list too
You go
on
live?
Facebook, that they're at concerts and they're streaming it. If you noticed, they get it up there and they stream probably just for a little bit, and the video disappears because of copyright,
Yeah,
and
they
stuff
start
like
taking
that.
stuff down.
Yeah.
So it's like for a while, it's like about every other thing was popping up on my news feed was like streaming from concerts. So I got on here and I was like, don't live stream your concert. The video will get deleted for copyright. And then people got mad at me for saying that. And then I was like, you'll see. And then look what happened.
It's
Sure
it's
enough,
cool
yeah.
taking some
Yeah.
video pictures and stuff, but I mean,
Or like a 10-second video.
Maybe, if
would
you
be
wanna-
okay.
yeah.
Well,
but
I
that's
just
about
think like
it.
if anybody was gonna give a shit that you were there, they would also be there.
yeah.
Right.
And so, like, if I go to a show, like, I'm not taking any pictures, I'm not taking any videos. Probably not. Like, I'll tell people, I'm like, oh, I'm going to this show that I want to see tonight, but I'm not gonna like spend my time there telling people that I'm there. Like checking in on Facebook and shit like that. Just like anybody who cares is here. And that's
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, it's like I saw someone post a video up when they're at a concert or something, and they're sitting there like trying to go live, and the band's playing all in the background. They're sitting there, and it's like sound like they're in a wind tunnel. They're like,
Yeah, you can't hear
and
it.
it's like, and then the video freezes up. It's like lost connection.
Yeah.
I laugh at that. I want to mention again about the Podcast City Network. Head over to podcastcity.net and check out the Everett Lee Show, ELS Uncut, Films of Classic, the Super Radio Brothers, and the Imaginarium podcast. Check out those great programming and content right there on the website, podcastcity.net. Be sure to follow Podcast City on social media. You can follow Podcast City Network on Facebook, facebook.com/Podcast City Network. Twitter, you can follow Podcast City Network on Twitter at Podcast City Net. Follow those on social media. Head over to the website. Support the shows. You may find something you may like, you may not, and etc. So, therefore, check it out.
You're listening to ELS Uncut.
Since we're talking about arenas and concerts and stuff, did you ever go out to see live bands?
Yeah, lots.
Local.
I mean, I think it's important to note, like, I didn't live in Seattle, right? I lived like 80 miles away. So if I wanted to go to a show in Seattle, it's like an hour and a half drive.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's like one particular spot in Seattle that's really like the hot spot for shows. There might be. I'm not like a Seattle native. But I've been to lots of shows down there. There are a lot of really cool theaters and venues and stuff. There's one really popular, famous one. It's the Showbox at the Market, and that is right across the street from Pike Place Market. You know, you see those pictures where people are taking pictures of the big sign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, if you're standing where they take those pictures from and you turn to your left, it's like right there.
I think that's
and
where
it's kind of like down. You go in and you kind of go up a ramp and then like down these stairs, and it's almost under, like, it's like half underground.
Really?
And it seems really small, but it fits like 1,000 people. So like, which also, like, so when you're in there, it doesn't seem like there's 1,000 people in here, but it fits like a ton of people. And I've seen quite a few shows there, and that's a really cool venue. I've seen Modest Mouse there.
Modest Mouse.
I saw Wolf Mother there, which was
Mother.
cool. Took my little brother to like his first concert to see Wolf Mother there. I think I've seen a couple others. Back in the day, I like saw when I was a teenager in church and stuff. I like went and saw this Christian band, this like Christian rock band that I really liked there. And then my favorite venue in Seattle though is this place called the Neptune Theater, and it's like this old historic theater. There's a lot of like comedy specials on Netflix that are filmed there.
Neptune. Yeah, I've heard of the Neptune Theater. How is that?
It's really cool. I mean, there's like these big. I mean, it's got a really, really high ceiling, right? And then all along the walls on the sides of the stage, there are these big like stained glass pieces up there. And then there's a balcony up top, and then the floor is cool because it's like all slanted towards the stage. So kind of no matter where you're standing, you have like a really good view of the stage. I just like because it's just such a cool venue to be in with like the big stained glass and this kind of historic look. And
Right.
I've seen some really cool shows there. I saw Against Me there once, which is a Florida band.
Yes.
I'm not sure where in Florida, but I know they're from down here. We saw David Bazan there, like I was talking about earlier. My wife and I went and saw that. Seen some other ones, but I'm kind of blanking on it now.
Actually, I
It's a
think
really cool venue.
Pike Place Market's we're going to be at when we ship off on our cruise next year.
Yeah, because it's
Something to
right
be
down
there.
by where like the cruise ships. I mean, Pike Place is like up further.
I think we're gonna be staying at a house. I think that's like right across one of the bridges right there. Maybe like
Okay.
a 20-minute drive, maybe, or something like that. I think maybe.
Not sure what bridge there could
I'll
be,
have to-
because like where the pier is, like where the cruise ships are, as far as I would think where the cruise ships would be, is like out by the water, and the only like big bridges out there go over like there's a big lake. I can't remember.
I think
what
that's.
it's called,
I think that's what it's going to
but
be. I
it's
think
like
it's
maybe
by
like
there.
Lake Washington. I'm not
So
sure
I
what
want to
it's
go
called.
see that the bubblegum wall that's out there.
Oh yeah, that's at Pike Place Market, or it's like kind
Yeah.
of below it, anyways, like in this little alley.
Yeah, I'm gonna go do that. Put some gum on the wall.
Yeah.
You know about that?
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, the bubblegum wall.
Yeah.
I've heard of the bubblegum wall.
They have like
Yeah.
the troll statue under the bridge or something like that.
Yeah,
down
I've
there, I think,
weirdly
too, or something
never
like that.
seen that.
Yeah.
I don't even know where that is. I know like everybody I knew there has like some sort of like Facebook photo like in front of it or whatever, and I just like somehow never saw that in all the time that I lived there.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's like something I always wanted to check out because it seems cool, but I just never saw it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. That area looks so neat up there. I can't wait to go out there.
Yeah, it's
I'm
really
so
cool.
excited.
Another
cool.
theater that's cool out there is the Paramount Theater. It seems like there's a
Yes, the
Paramount,
Paramount
theater
Theater.
in like every city and every big
Well,
city.
yeah,
in
yeah,
America.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
true. I'm like, yeah, the Paramount.
Yeah.
I got all excited there. I'm like, yeah, the Paramount Theater. And
I think there's one like they're like all over. I've heard of lots of other ones because common name, I guess.
yeah.
I saw Father John Misty there, which was an incredible show. It was like one of the coolest shows I've ever seen. My wife went and saw what are they called? Neutral Milk Hotel there. She said that was really, really cool. And I also saw Fleet Foxes there. So the only 2 shows I've ever seen there are Fleet Foxes and Father John Misty. And oddly enough, those were like 5 years apart. And Father John Misty was the drummer for Fleet Foxes when I saw him there, way before he was Father John Misty. I don't know if you know who that is, either of you guys. But
I've heard of him. Yeah.
it's kind of a like folk, like pop folk sort of guy. Really popular right now.
Right.
Yeah, those are some of the places I've been there. I can't really think of any others. Oh, there's this really dingy like kind of metal rock club that's like right next to the highway, like when you're driving in, called the El Corazon. Yeah, I've seen a couple like metal bands there, and it's kind of a dangerous spot because like the stage it's just got like kind of a sharp edge, and you can like walk right up to it, and it's just like cement. The whole room is just like this like small cement room essentially. And it's got these big pillars like right in the middle of it, and so if people are like moshing in there, like you'll get like slammed into these pillars.
Oh jeez.
I'll tell you, when it was a couple of years, it's been almost 2 years ago, up in we went up to Jacksonville, me and went up there to see Guar in this small club. It was called, this club, they shut it down. It was called Freebird Live.
It's open back up now with a different name, I think, but not really doing too many like shows and stuff there.
Well,
like a bar or something.
I almost didn't make it back in because they didn't have a sign that's right by the door that says, once you leave, you can't come back in.
So he's like, I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette. I'm like, I don't think you should go out and smoke. He goes, yeah, I'm gonna go. I'll be right back. Don't worry, they don't say anything. And then he's like, they wouldn't let him back in.
Oh yeah.
It's like, hey.
Yeah,
that's weird.
and then they changed bouncers.
Oh.
Yeah, because
So the guy that saw you go out.
Yeah.
There, so you come
Yeah.
back.
So I was sitting right there, and he's like, can't go back in. I said, I came all the way from Daytona Beach. I need to get back in there because my ride's in there. I have no place to go. And he's just sitting there ignoring me. He looked like Terry Crews.
Oh, yeah. Big guy.
Yeah, big guy. So he was sitting there talking to the other guy, and the other guy walked up. And I said, dude, let me just tell you. And I explained, I was like, my ride's in there. I have no place to go. I know you can't hang out here on the sidewalk. I need to get back in there. And they're like, yeah, don't let this happen again. I was like, okay. So I went in there, and we were in there and talking about like getting slammed across the pillars. Roman.
We were standing next to one at one.
Yeah.
We were standing next to a pillar, and
we got like throwing around in there.
well, what was it? It was so jam packed
Yeah,
that
it was
like
so packed.
everyone started moving, so you had to move with the crowd. So like everyone was kind of yeah. And then plus you're getting like hosed down with all kind of like fake blood and goo and stuff and everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, you look up and you get hit in the face with something, then you're moving around and the floor's getting slippery, so you're trying not to fall. And that was a heck of a show.
Is it still on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. This other place, really cool spot in my hometown. Well, I guess my hometown has like a really pretty active music scene, and that's where like I got a lot of my experience was playing around there. There are a lot of cool little venues. There's this one particular place in Bellingham called the Shakedown, which is like this really cool sort of rock club. Lots of like pretty decent bands come in. Lots of touring bands come in and play there. And they've like remodeled it a lot in the last like couple of years, and it's really cool. And it's got this little pinball bar attached to the side of it too, so there's like kind of two separate things. And played a lot of shows there.
What kind of bands were you in before?
So the first band I was ever in was like a punk rock band of sorts. Like we kind of play a lot of covers, but then we also had like a lot of original music. It's kind of a 50-50 thing. When I first met him, it was just like these three guys, they'd been playing together for a long time. A drummer, a guitar player, and a singer, keyboardist guy, and they just like hung around in this kind of like a lot of these big old houses up by the university there that are just full of like college kids and a lot of party houses and stuff. And this was kind of like one of these like dingy party houses, and
Right.
people would just kind of come and go as they pleased and stuff. Like the guy that lived there was the singer in this band that I was in, and he was like he would sell like a lot of weed and stuff, so people were constantly coming over to buy weed from him, and they would like hang around. And that's kind of how I met him. Was I just had this coworker friend, and she was like, let's go, like I can't remember if she wanted me to like meet these guys or if she wanted to buy weed or like both, whatever. Anyways,
Right.
I went over there and ended up hanging around with them and smoking and drinking, and decided to play some music together, and then we just started like really playing, mostly just like for the people that would come over and like kind of party at the house. We'd play a lot.
Right.
And then I had this girlfriend who asked us to play in her basement. She was gonna have this big house party, and she was like, "Yeah, like come play. You guys should come play a show in my basement for my birthday." And we were like, "Yeah, why not? Like it's down the street." And it was like this dingy basement. Like you could barely, like your head was probably like 6 feet from the ceiling of this basement, and it's all like dark, and there's like really almost no lighting, and all the outlets, none of them have grounds, and so like it was like a little bit sketchy. But we like played this show, and then I think like a week later I signed us up for this Battle of the Bands thing, maybe kind of without telling them or something like that.
Right.
We were like, all right, well let's do this Battle of the Bands thing, and we did that, and we won, which was totally unexpected and weird. The name of the band, I like hesitate to tell people this. The name of the band was Dick Blood.
That's awesome.
and these guys,
you gotta have a name, man. You gotta have something that stands out with the rest.
Well, the other guys had made the name before I joined the band, and they just, they were just joking when they made it, because they're like, "Oh, we're never gonna play a show. We're not like a band. We're just like we hang around at this house and play music together sometimes."
Right. Right. I think there's like this. I think back in the 80s or something, there was I was listening to the guy that formed Metal Blade Records, who was responsible for like Metallica and all the, a lot of artists and stuff, a lot of bands. There was one band, I think it was named Bitch or something, that was like really popular, but they never did get signed to like major label and stuff because of their name.
Yeah.
But that's actually why the band broke up mostly, was because we started to like write music that was actually like really good. And we got into this debate about like changing the name of the band.
Right.
And just a couple of guys in the band were like, well, I don't want to change it because I'm not like taking this seriously at all. And I'm like, but we're like writing good music. Like, let's change our name and like actually just keep writing music and stop playing covers and all that.
Yeah.
Like I wanted it to be kind of more of a serious thing because they're really talented musicians. And then they were just like, no, like it's not working out. And I think that's like mostly why we broke up, was because this name change thing. Also, the girl I was dating, the guy who played the drums was like medium in love with her, and I didn't really know that at the time. I didn't know that when I met her. I didn't know that until like after we had broken up and the band had broken up, and I was like, oh, like that's why he stopped being my friend almost immediately. But
why is it always drummers?
Don't say the drummer. Come on.
Yes, I'm gonna have to. Drummers and girlfriends and stuff. And why? What? Let's just. I don't know. It's just. It just happens.
To beat our skins. I don't know.
Beat our skins. With your setup and everything, he wants to play.
Yeah. No,
he is so playful. You're new, so it's like, oh, someone new. It's like I'm tired of looking at him. I'm tired of looking at me. Yeah.
And then go ahead.
Or no, go ahead.
I was gonna say I played in a couple other bands after that. Played in this band. I moved into this house. I just found this room on Craigslist. Moved in this house with 6 other guys. It was like this big house. There was 7 of us living there. And the living room was just like filled with instruments and like kind of broken guitars and pianos and a drum kit and a PA system and all this stuff. And
oh man,
they were like, yeah, we're like in a band and we need a bass player. Like if you want to play with us, like let's do it. And so I did, and we played, and I was in this band called Great Pacific. They go by they moved to Seattle. The 2 guys that are kind of the leads of it moved to Seattle, changed the name. I have like a record coming out like really soon. I don't know when, but it's been like.
Really?
They said it was going to come out like sometime this year, but I don't know.
Okay, seven of you living in a house. It almost sounds like something like the real world, but you're all musicians.
Yeah,
that right there would be a good premise for like a kick-ass reality show. But what?
A lot of it was just we would just smoke pot, and they would play a lot of video games, and we would play music, and that was pretty much the majority of what happened. Was just like a lot of smoking and playing video games and music. And
oh my god, man!
It was cool because everybody got along. There wasn't anybody that didn't get along with anybody else.
Common
which
factor.
Was unexpected.
And y'all got along.
Yeah, which is unexpected to have seven people, especially people who are like artistic. All be able to like live in one house and like get along.
Well, didn't
I'm telling you, people say
did,
video games and weed are bad, and I mean, it's like, look, that just proved it right there.
Nope. Yeah.
did everyone like with being artistic and stuff and doing their thing? Did they like do their thing and then like at certain times like everyone would like be in the same room hanging out and then just like break off and then come back or something?
Well, yeah, I mean, so not everybody that lived in the house was in the band. There was the guy who was the main singer. He's the singer, songwriter, rhythm guitar player, and then the lead guitar player, and they're kind of the core of the band. They've had like a lot of different members over the time they've been together. And then I played bass. We had a drummer that didn't live with us, and then there was another guy who was like just down the hall from me who would play piano or guitar with us sometimes. Like every once in a while, he would just drop in. And he was a fantastic musician, and so he could just like we'd be like, hey, we're playing a show tonight. Do you want to come and play with us? And he wouldn't practice with us almost ever. He'd just like show up and play. Like one time he played a melodica at one of our shows, which I don't know if it's like it looks like a keyboard. It's kind of a cross between a keyboard and a harmonica. So you blow into it and you play it like a keyboard. It's got keys on it, and like he played that at one of our shows just because he could, I guess.
Awesome.
That is cool.
And then there was a mandolin player who didn't live with us. So I guess it was really only like 3-4 of us in the house that were like in the band. But the other guys like played music and they just lived there. Yeah.
They just lived there.
A couple of
Smoked
guys were
weed,
just like
played
students,
video games,
and they were just like mostly going to school.
That is cool. That is neat.
Yeah.
I was like 70 musicians, 7 artists living in a house. that
we all got along great.
Cool.
We'd like hang out and drink and like hang out and smoke pot. We had a big pool table. They had a pool table in like kind of the main room, and we'd hang out and play pool.
There you go.
Now, did you have 1 or 2 bathrooms in the house?
There were definitely 2. It might have been 3. No, there were just 2.
Well,
that's you got to ask yourself that when you move in. So I mean,
yeah, it's like you're living. It's like you got 1 or 2 bathrooms. Now, actually, you know what? That wouldn't be a problem for guys because it's like
we don't
that was like the only source of any sort of like
privacy.
I don't know. No. I mean, like that was like the only thing that caused any of us to like not get along a little bit was just people's like irritations with like, oh, like don't leave your towel hanging up here, like oh, like turn the fan on, like whatever, like shit like that.
Right. Now
you don't have hair ties everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, if it's 1 bathroom and you have 7 women, that's a different story. But we won't get into that.
Yeah, that would be a lot. I mean, even with just my wife and I, like we would prefer to have 2 bathrooms just so like it's easier.
Yeah, I definitely love having like 2 bathrooms. Yeah. I mean, you saw the retro bathroom. I mean, this house is like built back in like 50s and stuff, and that tile is like the original tile still, and it still looks good. You see tile from like the 50s that, it's kind of
you're getting old when you have a 5-minute conversation about how many bathrooms you have in your house.
Well, think about these things.
I know, right?
Well, I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah,
I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
What is your current gear you're using, or what's your setup you use?
I actually got rid of like most of my. So I've like moved around a lot in the last year.
Right.
I left Washington in October, at the end of September 2016, and then I lived in Wyoming for like 5 months. Then I lived in South Carolina for 3 months, and I lived here for about 3 months. So like it's been all over, and I got rid of a bunch of gear along the way. So really, what I've got right now, I've got a bass guitar that I'll never get rid of it. It's very old. I can't remember what it's called. It's a PV Dynabass, and it's got to be like 40 years old at least. It's like super heavy, made of like really solid material. And that thing is great. I played that. The 3 bands I played in before Cody and I started playing music together, I played bass in all of them, and I played that same bass. Used to have, it's like red, and it used to have my blood on it from when I played in Dick Blood, because I would pick, which I wouldn't do normally, but I would play with a pick, and my wrist would rub against the body of the bass so much that it would like rub my wrist raw, and I would get these, like I used to get these like big nasty like scabs on my wrist, and it looked bad because it looks like a kind of like a like I like hurt myself on purpose or something like that, and I guess I kind of did, but not like not to hurt myself, but I would have to wear these like big bandages on my wrist before we'd play shows, and I had like blood all over this thing, and awesome. I only like recently washed it off maybe like a few months ago, but and then the other thing I've got is I have a a nylon string acoustic guitar. That's my like primary instrument, and then Cody has an electric guitar that I've been playing. It's like a Fender.
Yeah, the Stratocaster.
Strat.
Yeah, the
Right.
Strat.
Yeah, and that's nice. I never really played electric guitar. Never really played with a pick, and I didn't really think I could do it that well. But it's way easier than I thought it was. Going to be.
I have to try to bust out the other acoustic I got that's never in tune.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That old one. I couldn't tell you that thing was made. I think it was probably made like in the 40s or something, or 50s. It was,
Let your dad tune it, man.
he tried to. That thing, like, it goes out of tune instantly as soon as you start playing. I don't know why.
A guitar
I couldn't
that
tell
he
you
cannot tune.
Yeah.
That's his kryptonite. Oh, my brother.
He used to have an old Hondo guitar, and he
Yeah.
took off the pick guard and like splattered like this cool blue paint all over it. It had a splatter effect on it. He had that forever.
Oh, I remember
Then he
that.
had a some kind of Ibanez for a while, like a wood grain, like looking Ibanez. Then he got the Fender. He always wanted a Fender, so he got that. The only problem though with that, and you know as well as I do, the volume knob is so close to the strings that like when you start strumming, you just keep hitting the volume knob.
Yeah, we'll be playing
Still
it suddenly,
weird.
and
What a bad
it'll just get
design.
louder and louder as the song goes on. Because I realize like every time I'm strumming down, I'm like hitting the volume knob just a little bit, little bit.
It's the weirdest thing. I've never
Yeah.
seen one that close to the strings before.
He probably showed you that 5-string Ibanez bass I have. That was over there.
No, I think we talked about it. I just didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think I picked it up and played it.
Yeah, if you wanna pick it up and give it a go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's fun.
the bass, that 5-string Ibanez bass. I have a 4-string Ibanez, which is in my room there, but that 5-string, I remember getting that, and it's the same exact model from that Fieldley from Korn played.
Oh.
From the first album and Life is Peachy album.
Oh, cool.
I ended up picking that up from my best friend Jeremy, his cousin that worked at the radio station up there, up in Tennessee when I lived up there in Knoxville, the alternative metal like rock station, which ain't there no more, but he worked up there as DJ. And I was needing a bass, and he was like, "Hey, man," he's like, "My cousin's selling his big Fender bass amp, which is there, and a 5-string Ibanez."
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, "Oh, 5-string." I was
Yeah.
like, "Okay," so we drove out there. The crazy thing about that is, I don't know if you ever went on a crazy adventure just to get a musical instrument and then just bring it back. You ever had anything like that happen to you? Because
I'm trying to think. Like, I guess not really. Like, I had this like kind of awkward experience in South Carolina in Charleston, where I was gonna go buy a bass amp so I could meet these local musicians and try out for their band.
right.
And I went there and brought my bass with me because I didn't know if they were gonna have one or anything. And I get there and the lady's like, "Yeah, just like come on in, go in that room and just like play it as much as you want." And she just like disappeared, kind of like into the back of her house. And so I'm in like a bedroom, it seemed like, and like playing this bass. And I'm like, all right, well, like that's probably good. Like I gotta get the fuck out of here because that's weird. And it was also like a 30-minute drive from where I was staying, and I had to just kind of like wait there in the entryway for her to come back out. And I was like, do I just like leave the cash and leave? Because like I don't know if she's coming back. Like,
Right.
it's kind of like my only like really sort of awkward experience. But Craigslist stuff is always kind of like weird like that, you know.
Yeah.
You never really know what you're getting into.
Yeah, it is. The crazy thing about getting this bass and this amp was my cousin was supposed to go with us, with me, and of course my best friend. Of course they were out doing, God who knows what, and they weren't really coherent that well to go get it.
Okay.
I think we had to get another friend of ours that was a friend of my cousin's just to go out and go get this, drive to Knoxville and get this, get the bass amp and the bass. So we get out there and stuff and went to his house there. He had a bunch of people over, just chilling, just hanging out. I'm talking with him and stuff. I think his name's Brad. Yeah, his name was Brad. So I'm talking to Brad and stuff, and Brad's like, here's the bass, here's the amp, and I'm sitting there like messing with it. Well, my cousin's friend who brought us over in his truck, he had one of those CBs, and my cousin's wife was in the truck, and she was messing with the CB, and she got on the CB, and when I turned on the amp,
Or like pick up the radio.
it picked it up, And she was joking and jokingly, and she said, "All right, we know you're in there. This is the cops. Come on out." Everyone jumped up and ran out of the house.
Oh shit. That's awkward. Because then you got to be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, sorry, that was my friend fucking with you at your house." Yeah.
And he was like, "What the hell, man?" Because he went to the bathroom. What's the funny thing was he went to the bathroom, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go take a piss, man. You can turn it on and play." He comes back out and he's like, "Dude, where'd everyone go?" And his girlfriend's over in the corner. She's messed up. She's like, "They went to go get something," and then she fell back over and passed out. And I'm like, "Yeah, here's the money. Give me my,
Yeah. Let me get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, that was just crazy. What do you use to record your like music that you create and stuff? Do you what kind of software or what's your setup that you usually use? Or
It's really basic. Like I don't know if he showed you. Like I've got a couple songs up on Bandcamp, and those I actually recorded. So I used my MacBook and recorded them on GarageBand.
oh,
And I don't have any microphones or anything. So the way that I did that was I plugged the Apple headphones that come with like the phone or whatever. They've got a little
Right.
microphone on them, and I plugged that into the computer, and I put like the headphone that doesn't have the microphone on it. I put that one in my ear. And then I basically, like, this is going to sound crazy, but I took the other headphone and I tucked it behind the crook of my knee and held it out like that, right? So the microphone is, like, kind of out like this in front of me. And then I would play the guitar with the microphone, like, pulled out by the... It's hard to explain. Basically, I recorded all on the microphone that's attached to the Apple headphones into GarageBand. And then I
Really?
mixed it all together that way. So, like, a really, really... thrown together, like almost nothing set up.
hey,
Um,
it worked, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it sounded everything sounded pretty good.
Yeah.
There's a GarageBand has a cool effect you can use, which is or not effect, but it has a noise gate you can use.
Mhm.
So you can basically set that at a whatever decibel level you want, and it'll block out any sounds that aren't that are like beyond the noise gate. So
Right.
like if there's I don't know, just like any ambient noise in the house that the microphone might pick up, because like that's a shitty microphone. It's gonna pick up
Yeah.
everything, and it's not meant to record a guitar or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
So that helped like balance it, and then you can change the levels on it. So what I did with a lot of them was like turn the treble way down and the bass tones up, and that sort of smooths it out too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I recorded the couple of songs. I have a couple other stuff that's just like on my computer, but the couple of songs that are on Bandcamp, that's how I did those.
That's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
you if it works, it works, man.
Yeah, you got to make it work.
you,
Also, like
you definitely got to make it work. It's
I
like
found a picture in here, the old drum set I was telling you about. The one that had like the flames. Remember the flame drum set I used to have?
Yeah.
So that was the flame drum set I used to have. It was a Tama, a custom painted Tama set. Yeah, that was an awesome drum set.
that was
Yeah.
black with the flames and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like these mics here that we're using. Rock Band, Guitar Hero.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
They-
okay.
Yeah, they work.
Yeah.
You know, look, like, see right here,
Oh, yeah.
And I agree.
Yeah, that's cool.
and they're made by
whatever works.
Logitech.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're made by Logitech. It works. You know, it's like people who start out a podcast. It's like, for me, it's like started out doing a podcast, Rock Band mic, laptop, Audacity, and then you go
Yeah.
from there and stuff. And then now got a PC I built, with and got a mixer.
Gaming PC, is that what you use it for much? Or?
No, just recording podcasts, more like audio video. That's
okay.
that's all I use it for. Like this mic here, this
Yeah.
this Sterling condenser mic, and this mixer. I hook it up to that computer there, and that's basically what I use that computer for and stuff. And
Maybe we start mining some Bitcoin with that thing.
do what?
How's your GPU on that thing?
Yeah, I need to add some more RAM to it and stuff. I mean, that's what I use it for. That's all I use it for. I mean, if I wanted to turn it into a gaming, PC,
Pretty
I
good.
could, because I got a pretty good graphics card. I mean, I got one of the GeForce like 960 graphic cards in there.
okay.
So, I mean, I could, but I don't.
Yeah.
I just want to use something for audio and
He's more
video.
of a console gamer like I am.
I am.
yeah.
I used now back in the day.
PC gaming is complicated.
Yeah.
At
Well,
least
But
seems like
it's
it to me, but-
it's so cool though. I mean, especially with first person with
Well, you used to do Quake, right?
Quake. Oh god.
Yeah, he used to do Quake a lot.
Now, you play? Are you in the gaming?
I mean, a little bit. Like I have a
First
PS4
person?
and play. Yeah. Like first person shooters, stuff like that. Yeah.
Now, like, see my
Call of
laptop
Duty
here.
pisses me off so much.
What's good about like okay, what console games? You got your controller there.
Right.
You gotta use your thumbs to turn around. Like, say if I'm like first person shooter, and you're playing like PvP, and you're trying to go after whoever and not get killed, and you're sitting there running down the corridors or something, and someone's coming up and like they kill you before you can turn around. And you're like, damn, man. Now with the PC thing, like WASD, I would use that for up, down, left, right there, and then your mouse just sitting right there. You set the sensitivity on your mouse where basically, and you use like your space bar for make your character jump with the setup, having it up like that in the mouse and using the top of the mouse to the roll for like to go through your weapon select and stuff, and then you used one, I think the right or left, you set it up however was comfortable for your fire. Set the sensitivity and everything, and say you're like running down that corridor and you get shot, and it's like you get shot one more time, you're gonna die. You basically just barely move your hand like this. You'll flip around and just bam. You
could do the same thing on consoles too. You just turn your sensitivity up on your
but
joysticks.
it's a little bit more. It's more easier and more relaxed to do it because you're just sitting there and you're like just like that. You just move your hand and then you're like 180. Bam. There you go. And you go with the console. What I found out for me, it's like trying to turn around and stuff. Like it's with the sensitivity. It's just first person shooters. Yes.
PC,
yeah, it's
I had
more
a bunch
control.
of roommates once that were like way into PC gaming. They had these like incredible machines that they had built and like
Right.
these cool setups and all this shit. And they like swear by it. There's that whole PC master.
Yeah.
Like,
I just can't get into the keyboard or mouse playing it.
You just got to get used to it.
I've tried to do some before.
I can see that, but-
Like I wouldn't do a first person shooter. I'd probably do more of like an RPG style, like Skyrim or something, or whatever. But I think though, like if I ever did get into PC gaming good, I would get a legit good PC game and get some nice 4K graphics in it. But I would just hook up console controller up to it and just use that. Just become so used to it.
Yeah. Well, they have like the Steam controller, which I don't know if that's to use with your PC. I know they have controllers you can hook up to your PC.
Yeah.
Right.
I might do something like that. Like my MacBook, I have an emulator for some NES games. I hook up like a wired Xbox controller to it and play some stuff on that. But.
Talking about gaming, I just want to mention this real quick that they got the I saw where I work at, they got the plug and play
Yeah.
video games. They have like the Sega Genesis one.
Oh, okay.
They got the Atari one, and they also got like the handheld one where you can take it and put it on the SD card.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, they got the Atari one and the
They
Genesis
also
one.
have a mobile Atari one too.
They're running it for like $40.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap. But what I liked about the Genesis one, it had Mortal Kombat 1 on it.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, I'm like, all right, is this with blood or without blood? Can you put in the blood code?
I know,
Because
right?
remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
One last thing before we close out. What was the question? I had it off the top of my head. I was going to ask it before we closed. Do you plan on continuing releasing like original music, and you ever like thought about like throwing like a cover out there every once in a while, or with what you do with recording music and stuff?
I always thought like it'd be cool to do covers. I always kind of had this idea to like be cool to do something like play a cover at each show, but never play it again. Just play it like one time, like learn a cover, play it at a show. Just as there's a lot of music I really love that I would love to play, or like do it my own way or whatever. So yeah, definitely. And like with an album, I think it'd be cool to record, throw a song in there that's a cover, because sometimes people write songs that maybe communicate how you're feeling better than you could have done it yourself, or they just beat you to the punch or something like that. But yeah,
Right.
We got about 3 songs working on right now, I think.
Yeah, we've got like about 3 songs we're working on right now, and then I've got probably, I mean, with how many songs that I've got written that we could do, we've probably got like a decent full-length album's worth of music, especially with the ideas we have as far as like adding a lot to the songs and making them longer, giving these kind of big moments. And yeah, I mean, we could easily, I think, maybe not easily, it's going to take a lot of work to get it sounding right, but I think we have enough material that I've got written already that we could put together, that we could put out probably either one long album or 2 short ones. And you know, through a cover in there, even that make it longer.
Even do like
something.
like a concept album, like a part 1 and part 2 of it.
Yeah,
Be pretty sick.
yeah. I'd have to like
Record
look at the
all-
songs
that
and like
would
think about
be-
which ones are.
Yeah.
Record it all at once and just release it at 2 separate times.
Yeah,
That sounds-
like I've got.
that sounds
I've actually
awesome.
got 2 pairs of songs that are like, they're like similarly titled in that they're references to each other. So like these 2 songs are like references to each other in a way, and like so are these ones, and you could almost put like one of each on each album.
There you go.
Because each album would be kind of referencing each other. You do like short. That's a great idea.
Yeah,
Now
that's
we're
good.
talking about it.
Yeah, that
we
is-
should do that.
I think, yeah, and then my friend Tyler, has got that little mini recording studio in his place, so we're
Yes.
gonna hook up with him and do some recording through there, and
Oh, that'd be awesome. That would-
honestly,
that'd
even
be
if
awesome.
even if like we wanted to really record something, we could just have you come over with all your mics and stuff right here,
Yeah.
and just, record it.
Oh yeah,
Because-
because I could definitely, because this right here, I mean, I can
Yeah.
record stuff, and then
There you go.
yeah, I got a lot of microphones. I got got the mixer and everything and stuff, and mic stands. Yeah,
So now it's time to
Yeah.
get those creative juices flowing, and we're gonna go write some more music.
Yeah.
heck yeah,
Hey, thanks for having me on.
yeah, no problem, man. Well, let me ask you real quick, where can people find your music?
Right
You out there on social
now,
media?
Sort of. Yeah, I guess I have a Facebook page. It's pretty much unknown. But you can go to bruiser.bandcamp.com. That's the name of our band, is Bruiser. My wife actually came up with the name. But yeah, you can find us on Facebook, Bandcamp. There's only a couple songs right now, but worth checking out, I guess.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, and I can't wait to hear what you guys produce and
Yeah.
come up with, man.
I can't either.
Yeah, all right. Let's
I
do
appreciate it, man.
I'm stoked right now.
Thanks for having me.
I want to thank Cullen for swinging by, hanging out, talking music, and just us having a good time. It was a good conversation, man. McShaft in his ugly sweater. Puts a smile on my face, man. Puts a smile on my face. Want to mention this week, check out new programming from the Super Radio Brothers and the Imaginarium podcast on Podcast City Network. Head over to podcastcity.net to listen to those shows and this one, ELS Uncut, and returning on January 19th from quite a few weeks hiatus, the Everett Lee Show podcast. Be sure to head over to Podcast City Network. And again, follow Podcast City Network on social media at Facebook, facebook.com/Podcast City Network. Twitter, you can follow Podcast City Network on Twitter at Podcast City Net. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I am checking out of here. Everett Lee, thanks for listening, downloading ELS Uncut. We'll see you again next week for another episode. Adios, amigo. Hasta la vista, baby.